Welcome back to AI Verdict, where we do the research so you don't have to. Listen, if you're watching Microsoft's AI moves right now and you're only counting OpenAI announcements, you are literally reading the wrong page of the playbook. Seriously, we've been digging through all the recent drops, the Azure pricing tables, and the media reports, and there was a massive shift happening right under our noses.
Because the real story here, it isn't about some shiny new model dropping. The real story is that Microsoft just quietly stopped caring which specific model wins the AI race. Think of this explanator as a bit of a detective story. We're going to investigate the underlying unit economics of enterprise AI to figure out exactly why a remarkably cheap Chinese model might actually end up running parts of your company's AI agents.
But hey, before we unravel all of that, make sure you join the AI Verdict community. We've got a completely free weekly newsletter packed with the key AI news, tools, and resources you need to stay ahead of the curve. Just click that link down in the description to subscribe. It is absolutely the best way to keep up with this crazy, fast-moving space.
Okay, let's dive into this. First up, we really need to separate the confirmed facts from the, frankly, kind of sloppy media headlines, because the lines have been totally blurred lately. On one side, we have what is absolutely confirmed fact. Microsoft officially launched Copilot Co-work globally on June 16, 2026, and they built it from day one as a multi-model experience, layered right on top of a standard Microsoft 365 license. But on the flip side, we have the reported headlines. Axios reported that Microsoft is quote-unquote exploring a fine-tuned DeepSeek V4, or maybe another open model, as a cheaper option. Exploring, right? Not shipping. Microsoft has not officially announced a joint product with DeepSeek. So to really grasp what's going on, we have to understand what Co-work actually is. You've got to forget the idea of a simple chatbot that you just ping for a quick recipe or a code snippet. Co-work is a serious enterprise operating layer. It's an agentic system designed for complex, multi-tool work. Basically, it's the kind of task you hand off, you walk away from, and it just keeps chugging along in the cloud, completely independent of whether your laptop is open or closed. Let's quickly trace the mechanics here. First, it pulls context through what Microsoft calls Work IQ. That means it's reaching into your personal work context, your emails, meetings, files, Dynamics 365, all those plugins. Second, it runs those complex tasks up in the cloud. But here is the absolute game changer for enterprise trust. Step 3. Checkpoints. Before Co-work does anything sensitive, like say sending a final email to a major client or pushing a massive software update, it pauses. It literally stops and asks you for approval. So it's autonomy, yeah, but with your hand firmly hovering right over the emergency brake. Now, what's super interesting is the foundation all of this is built on. Co-work already features a built-in model picker. Right out of the gate, it routes tasks across various frontier models, depending on the specific job. It can use Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.8, Sonnet 4.6, or OpenAI's GPT 5.5. Think about what that means. Co-work is already fully architected to securely orchestrate work across multiple different AI brains.
And if we trace the history back a bit, we can see how this builds over time. This multi-model shift, it is absolutely not a sudden reaction. It's a highly calculated pattern. Back in September 2025, Microsoft brought Anthropic into the Copilot ecosystem. Then, March 2026 hits, and they launch a dual-model researcher agent. One model writes a report, a completely different model critiques it. And then by June 2026, boom, global launch of Co-work. Microsoft is totally rebuilding its ecosystem into this routed, multi-model fabric. They've even explicitly stated they might deploy other hosted models securely under their own boundaries, which perfectly opens the door for something like DeepSeek.
So why this sudden interest in exploring DeepSeek right now? Well, to understand the motive, we just have to follow the money. Co-work runs on usage-based billing. Every time you use it, you're billed on 4 main drivers: the model you use, context retrieval, tool calls, and total runtime. And as Microsoft's own Charles Lemon pointed out, because users can run hundreds of tasks a week, these costs can explode incredibly fast. Moving from a quick 5-second chat to a long-running background agent means your compute costs just absolutely skyrocket. The actual pricing brilliantly illustrates the financial pressure that is totally forcing Microsoft's hand. If we look at Microsoft's Azure blog and Anthropic's listings, for 1 million output tokens, GPT 5.5 costs $30, Claude Opus 4.8 costs $25. But when we look at the budget alternatives, DeepSeek V4 Pro costs just $3.48 for output, and V4 Flash, an astonishing 51 cents. I mean, that is a staggering difference. Just doing the math on output tokens,
DeepSeek is potentially 50+ times cheaper than the leading frontier models. 50 times! That creates a massive, completely unavoidable financial incentive for Microsoft. They desperately need a budget lane for all those invisible background agent steps. You know, the routine organizing, the formatting, the basic drafting, stuff that simply doesn't require the most expensive frontier reasoning every single time.
And here is the wild nuance that almost everyone is missing. DeepSeek isn't some hypothetical guest that Microsoft might invite over one day. It's already living inside the house. DeepSeek versions R1, V3, and V4 are already hosted inside Microsoft Azure Foundry. Microsoft even released MAIDS R1. That's a variant of DeepSeek R1 that Microsoft itself post-trained to ensure safety and responsiveness on sensitive topics. So they already possess the policy and the technical machinery to adapt this model to strict enterprise standards.
However, we do need to look at the full picture impartially, because this integration definitely has roadblocks. First, there's a technical hurdle. While DeepSeek's own documentation says V4 supports tool calls, Microsoft's Azure Model Catalog currently lists tool calling as no for these variants. For a heavily tool-reliant agent like Co-work, that's a real barrier. Then, of course, there's the geopolitical hurdle. Putting a Chinese AI model inside a U.S. enterprise tool has drawn national security concerns and government criticism, which Reuters has reported on. Microsoft's neutral defense here is just that the model is entirely optional, it's fully hosted on Azure, and it's governed by strict data residency controls, meaning customer data literally never leaves Microsoft's boundaries.
Now, if we zoom out from just Microsoft and DeepSeek for a second, we see a much bigger industry war playing out. Pretty much everyone is converging on the exact same bet: building autonomous agent platforms. Google is heavily pitching secure agent platforms with enterprise search. Salesforce is pushing Agentforce as this trusted autonomous layer. AWS has Bedrock, which is super focused on model-agnostic agents. And OpenAI is rolling out their own workspace agents for shared workflows. So, the absolutely crucial point is this. The ultimate realization across the entire tech industry right now is that the winner isn't whoever has the single smartest model. Nope. It is whoever owns the orchestration layer, the routing, the governance, the enterprise context. That is the real prize. The AI models themselves, they are fast becoming commodities. The enterprise routing platform is the true competitive moat.
What you really should take away from this for your own company is that Microsoft is transforming Co-work into the primary hub where enterprise work gets delegated, monitored, priced, and routed across all these different models. The era of choosing one winning AI model is officially over. Whether DeepSeek actually gets confirmed inside Co-work or not, this architectural shift to usage-metered, multi-model enterprising agents is already here. It's the new default.
This shift completely changes how we should all be thinking about deploying AI in the workplace. So, what does this all mean for your specific workflows? Do you want to see exactly how these different orchestration layers stack up against each other? If you want to follow up explainer benchmarking Microsoft's Co-work against Google, Salesforce Agentforce, and OpenAI's workspace agents for real-world business tasks, drop a comment below and let me know. Thanks for learning with us today on AI Verdict, and keep exploring.